Hello there. My name is Miki Wright, and I want to welcome you to Beauty Superstars Talk, your backstage pass to experts in beauty. So, thank you for being here, and we're here on our continuing conversation on Let's Talk Texture. And I'd like to welcome our new sponsor for this exciting series, which is the Black Beauty Expo. And the Black Beauty Expo is the hottest show for creatives. I'm going to mute you there. Sorry. It's the hottest show for Black creative entrepreneurs. It includes hair, fashion, photography, modeling, and the makeup industries. So their next show is August 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. So be sure to follow them and keep up with the latest news on the show and for special vendor packages. And if you're interested in educating, please feel free to reach out to me, message me, and we'll chat. So I'm super excited. This month is all about texture. And it's time to, bring your questions and bring your comments. It's like we're excited to have our next guest here, but we're all about enhancing your knowledge of hair types, hair textures, and learning what it takes to succeed as a natural hair professional, even a hair professional, because texture is everywhere. So it's such a hot topic that you may know someone who has questions, who wants to learn more, or grow their business. So definitely feel free to reach out and tag them now, invite them to join us. So a few weeks ago, I had Diane DaCosta on. She is from New York, also like my guest, and she spent her life's work committed to natural hair. She's also a contributor to some of the Milady textbooks, one of, co-author for some of those, and their sections on natural and textured hair. And there are many who believe that we need more education on textured hair in cosmetology and barber schools. But my guest tonight, none other than the King of Loc and natural hair icon, Thando Kafele. I'm super happy he's here. But he feels like it should not be included in cosmetology and barber school. So we're going to dig into that. So I'm excited to hear. I've heard a few of his reasons, but I really want to hear more. So I hope you do as well. So this is going to be a very deep evening. So definitely stay tuned. And if you're not already, please follow me on Instagram at Miki Wright, just 1K, MIKIWRIGHT, and Facebook at Salon Biz Coach 1 for my tips on texture that I'm doing all this month. And be sure to, stay tuned for some throwbacks as well. We've got some good stuff coming up for that. But again, my name is Miki Wright, and I'm grateful to be here and for the privilege every week to meet with amazing Black beauty bosses who are making their mark in the beauty industry. And more than a podcast, this is a movement to encourage Black excellence, entrepreneurship, and preserve our history, as well as bringing healing to our industry. So if you missed last month, we had the Salon Success Series. You can actually catch that and all of our previous Beauty Superstars Talk interviews on the YouTube channel, which again is Miki Wright, MIKIWRIGHT. And you can actually listen to us on Apple or iTunes or your favorite podcast station. And I want to thank you all for listening, because I received an email that we are number 235 on in the US on fashion and beauty blog podcast. So I'm super excited about that. And that is, we're new, we're getting started, but we're just getting started. So we appreciate your support, and please, share the love. So a lot of people have asked, how they can support the work that we're doing. And I'm happy to announce that we actually have a partner program where you can contribute any amount you'd like, and even sponsor a deserving student or beauty pro with advanced training. So you can just visit beautysuperstars.com and look for the red button. And next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, just like today, we'll wrap up Let's Talk Texture. And we'll be talking about how to find ideal natural hair clients online. And that's going to be with Dr. Tanya Taylor, Tan's Locks, and she's out of Houston, Texas. And I want to encourage you to do yourself a favor and just Google Sister Locks in Houston and watch her salon pop up. And next month, she's actually going to share some of her secrets with us as far as how she finds clients online and how she ranks in Google, like on the first page in the top 3. Consistently. So then we get into next month, where we're going to actually dive deep into our new series, Help, Women Are Losing Their Hair. and you will not want to miss that. We're going to talk about hair loss and hair replacement. They're both very big opportunities to help a lot of people and also create another profit stream. And if you're a hairstylist, you're not really that interested in getting into that aspect, we need to be kind of on patrol, helping people to not get to a point where they don't have many options. And so we want to learn from our experts on next month how we can do just that, just from our chair and the clients that we're seeing. And I want to tell you, just kind of invite you. It's like last week I was honored to be able to do a webinar on reinventing your salon business for 2021 for the ANHC Pro, the Association of Natural Hair Care Professionals. And you can watch the whole class for free on Beauty Superstars if you go there to beautysuperstars.com and check out the blog. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest, and I want to share his entire bio with you before we jump into his story. I want you to listen closely, as this will give you a little taste of the treat you're in for tonight. So welcome. It's like I want to make sure you are unmuted. Can you hear me, and can we hear you?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Well, welcome. It's like I want to read your bio, and then we'll jump right in. So Thando Kafele possesses a clarity of vision for natural hair, well suited to the high priest of the old African religions. Quite simply, he is a revolutionary, a sorcerer who has been engaged in liberating natural hair for 25 years. And we're getting some background noise on your end. I'm not sure what that's from. Do you know of anything? I hear a click. No. Okay, hopefully it will disappear. But clients do not sit for hair appointments with him. They sit for spiritual transformation and ancestral divination and wholesome reparations for the scalp. He works magic, reimagining chair time as an opportunity to instill African magnificence in his clients. A visible yet unassuming presence, Kafele projects an earthy majesty. He makes you feel at ease immediately with his broad grin and deep dimples, but you also sense quickly his sacred energy. His hands are fleshy and dense, well suited for untangling, weaving, locking, braiding, parting, organizing, and oiling tendrils, tresses, and scalps. His mantra, natural hair is not just about style, it's about health. It's a reflection of the way in which his practice is a site for total healing. He follows the long traditions of West African spiritual practices that recognize the head and the crown as the sources of the divine. These spiritual practitioners knew well the significance of the crown. They saw hair as an adornment to the psychic and spiritual energies that protect and nurture the body. And as such, hair required particular attention by anointed hands. Kafele's stylings are imbued with wisdom, meaning, and power. They are only legible to those who have been initiated into the visual politics of the Afro-centric. They are regal signifiers, and I'm going to mute you for just a sec because I still hear the clicking. Okay, they are regal signifiers from the African past with messages of ethnic pride. They are meant to be donned unapologetically with dignity. African locks, dreads, afros, and cornrows had been prohibited in many corporate spaces as unacceptable corporate appearance. This is starting to change. Very recently, the New York City human rights law has expanded to make it illegal to discriminate on the basis of stylings of Black hair. Black hairstyles are protected racial characteristics because they are an inherent part of Black identity. The dismantling of this practice in the largest city in the United States speaks to the revolutionary influences of natural hairstyle wizards like Kafele. As his clientele continues to grow, Kafele reminds us that the revolution will not be texturized. And I am so happy and honored to have you here. So thank you.
The pleasure is mine, Miss Miki.
So so tell us, it's like I want to hear more about what this all means to you, because I think it's so powerful. It's not like your traditional bio, I've done this, I've done that kind of thing. It really speaks to the way in which you represent yourself and the way in which you approach hair and hair design. And so what does, what kind of stood out for you? Like as I was reading that as something like, yeah, that's really me, or that's really something I want to expand on.
That I'm a keeper of the culture.
Okay. Yeah.
And without culture, us as a people can't move forward spiritually or
Hmm.
economically.
Wow. I told y'all this is going to be deep. So, yes, a keeper of the culture. I love that. So,
Yes.
tell us, how did you actually even get started with hair? Was it something you knew from the beginning or something you evolved into? What was your entry into the industry like?
Um, there was a gentleman named Daryl Bennett,
Okay.
and he comes from the institution of Knaps.
Okay.
Knaps was one of, if not maybe the first natural hair salon in New York City, but definitely one of the first. Knaps meant kinky and nappy. It was a beginning of a commitment to servicing people who wore their natural hair unapologetically.
Hmm. Okay. So tell us what time frame this is happening in. When was Knaps open, or when were you
The
kind
80s,
of in the 80s? Okay. Okay. And so a lot for
Knaps,
context. Yeah.
Knaps was a celebration of kinky and nappy.
Awesome. Okay. And just for context, because some of our audience is going to be younger and they weren't even thought about in the 80s. So
That is correct.
the rest of the industry in the 80s was more toward blow drying the hair, relaxing the hair. The curls were still popular then, although kind of starting to fade. But there weren't as many people as we see today wearing their natural hair. Is that your experience as well, or no?
That is not my experience.
Okay. Okay. Talk to us.
I've seen natural hair since my inception. Um,
Mhm.
my mom had locks when I was 7,
Okay.
and I just turned 53.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Happy birthday.
So, thank you. So, natural hair has always been around me.
Mhm.
Um, and maybe not, I've been all around natural hair.
Okay. And so, what was it about Knapp that got you started, or how did you get started or involved with that?
Um, there was a gentleman who worked at Knaps who twisted my hair, and I used to get comb coils. Um, I was fascinated with the technique, and I started to mimic it.
Mhm.
In the community, I was just doing people's hair for fun.
Mhm.
And then there became a word on the street that I was good. Um, wasn't interested in becoming a stylist. I was still moving around in corporate America. And just one day, I just felt that there had to be some God given gift that I have that I wouldn't have to work for the establishment.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I left corporate America and I went to Locks and Chops. Locks and Chops is the transition from Knaps to Locks and Chops. And that's where I received a cultural background for natural hair and locks.
Okay. Okay.
I became a stylist there,
Uh-huh.
and I was there for over 10 years, became a senior stylist at the shop. And from there, it took off.
Mhm. So, what does that even mean? What's taken off?
Was taken off.
What's taken off look like?
Um, what's taken off look like? Um, as a loctician, I think in my head, I'm one of the first locticians to work the Brown and Brothers show,
Okay.
the IBS show,
Mhm.
the Talia Wajid Natural Hair Show,
Mhm.
the Premiere Show. I've given consultation to Revlon.
Mhm.
Um, I was the spokesperson for Jane Carter Solutions product line.
Mhm.
I've done celebrities. I've taught classes all over the world.
Mhm.
Um, It's been a great ride.
Yeah, yeah. That's taken off. That's very cool. Yeah, it's like you're definitely internationally known and respected and definitely King of Loc. So it's like we love that. And thank you for sharing, some of the things that you've done because I think the exposure is everything. And
Yes.
and so you talked about getting your kind of cultural roots, I guess you could say, at Locks and Chops. So tell us, what does that even mean?
So that means natural hair is all I know.
Okay. Hmm.
So I didn't go to cosmetology school.
Okay.
I attempted to fill out a cosmetology application. And while I was filling out the application, I remember asking the woman who was the representative of this particular cosmetology school, why do you teach Black people to put relaxer on the closest part of your body to your brain?
Hmm.
And this woman replied, because you people, that's how she started,
Hmm.
have what we call over curly hair.
Hmm.
And it needs to be straightened so
Mm.
that you can have one of the better positions in life.
Oh, wow. Okay. It gets worse. Okay.
So at that moment, I just ripped up the application
Right.
because I wasn't signing up for that.
Hmm.
And so my understanding has always been that natural hair is not about style, it's
Hmm.
about health.
Hmm.
It's about choosing healthy hair.
So tell us a little bit more about that. Right now, from my experience, what I'm seeing a lot of is that we don't seem to have, like, as a culture, let alone the beauty industry, have a respect for hair. We don't seem to have a respect for our bodies. It's like there's a lot of things that we're doing that are, kind of, in my opinion, kind of destroying hair.
Mhm.
So seeing more and more people with no edges, with, doing a lot of different styles that seem trendy, but they're not necessarily about the health of the hair. And they're not even concerned that it's not about the health of the hair until it's really far gone. And it's like, oh God, I haven't seen my hair in 10 years. And now half of it's missing. Um, when you say, that you're about health and that the natural hair is about health, talk to us a little bit more in terms of like how we can really embrace our hair again.
For me, it's simple. You have to choose natural hair.
Okay.
And so um, this is a hard conversation for me to have with you.
Hmm.
Um, but I have to be myself.
Please. That's why we have you here.
And so you can learn a lot of phenomenal things in cosmetology school.
Hmm.
You can learn the science of hair. You can learn expertise hair cutting. You can learn the magic of color. But when it comes to African American hair,
Hmm.
it falls short with the integrity.
Hmm.
And so I don't feel that for African American people, that cosmetology in regards to the health of our hair has
Hmm.
been a contribution.
Okay. Okay. And when you're saying like the health of our hair, are you connecting that to the health of our body since you're talking kind of lifestyle wise?
I'm saying that you cannot have healthy hair
Hmm.
with the application of chemicals.
Okay. Any chemicals?
Any chemicals.
Any chemicals. Okay. Okay. So natural hair, we get that. So
Yeah.
how would you say that contributes to health? What is your, thought process on that?
How does natural hair contribute to health?
Yeah. Yeah. Like you're saying, no chemicals. So like, what is your experience of what the chemicals do to us or do to our hair? Is it from more of a philosophical standpoint or a, degrading of the hair?
I feel that the institution of cosmetology school,
Hmm.
of cosmetology,
Okay.
is a basic reason why our black women don't have any hair today,
Mm. Okay.
or lack of hair,
Hmm.
or hair challenges.
Okay. Okay. And so is it, some of it feels like cultural to me, when I think about
Yes,
it, we want, there's the thoughts that, it's like, oh, we want it to look a certain way to fit in or to separate ourselves from the slavery experience, that we wanted to look different on the outside because we hopefully felt different on the inside. And, do you feel like that plays a role in it, or that it's really because we're being bombarded with, the whole, cosmetology, the beauty and the images and all of that kind of stuff, the representation of what is beautiful?
absolutely. I
Mm.
mean, it's really a challenge for us as a people
Mhm,
who have once been owned
mhm,
to regain or reclaim owning our culture.
mhm. Yeah. And I guess one of the things that stands out to me, being an African American woman, is that there really isn't any other culture that I am aware of that doesn't know where it came from. And I can't trace back, what part of the continent of Africa my people are from. And so in some ways I don't have roots. We don't have roots or what have you. And so when we look at the culture, like if you look at the continent, and I only know a limited amount, there are different styles that are part of different regions that represent different tribes and all of those types of things. So what is it that we're really kind of going back for or to in your?
So when you say you don't have roots, I say you do have roots. And
Yeah.
so being African from
Hmm.
my perspective is not being from the continent. Being African is a state of mind.
Okay. Okay. So tell us what that means.
And so for me, being African to me doesn't mean I'm exactly from the continent, but
Yeah.
being African shows a desire to claim my culture. And
Okay.
that desire shows up in Thando Kafele.
Uh-huh.
It shows up in my name, which is not my birth name,
Hmm.
but I didn't want to walk as a black man with a name that didn't mean anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
So African shows up in your name. African shows up in your hair.
Hmm.
African shows up in your dance. It shows up in how you pray. It
Hmm.
shows up in your clothing. African is a state of mind.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And you were mentioning your name. I was actually wanting
Yeah.
to ask you the meaning of it because I'm sure there is a meaning and I wanted to find out what that is.
Thando Kafele was given to me by two different women. Thando is South African. If you are familiar with the actress Thandie Newton,
Hmm.
Thando is the masculine of Thandi.
Okay.
Thando means love.
Love. Okay.
Kafele is West African,
Uh-huh.
and it means worth dying for.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful and it describes you. You stand deeply rooted in your beliefs and I love it. Awesome. So it's like you got into the industry and it sounds like you got, more of this cultural experience and knowledge. What is it like that we need to know that we may not know, just a little nugget, though it's too big to try to give us a whole class tonight, but what's kind of a little nugget that we might embrace about working with natural hair? Because I love your approach because it feels so holistic and authentic, that it really comes from inside you, that you are, have been given this gift and that you're taking something that is a treasure and working with it. And unfortunately, I don't see a lot of that today. And so what is it that gives you that sense of, this is a sacred practice?
Doing natural hair and doing African locks,
Hmm.
I feel it is a cultural birthright.
Okay. Meaning what?
And that I am coaching my people to
Hmm.
love, honor, and respect the hair that God gave them.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay. And so that is part of the experience that you share with your guests or clients in your chair during their time with you?
And to give them an opportunity to choose themselves, to
Mm,
choose natural hair, to choose healthy hair.
yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like the influence that you have and sharing that with them gives them a certain level of confidence or a certain um just feeling of pride, maybe, that they
Yes.
would not have had prior to coming to see you?
Um, for some people, it's instant. And for some people, it could be challenging. You
Mm,
know, a lot of our Black women have a lot of challenges embracing their hair,
mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and they go through all of the different things that they can do with their hair until they have come to a space of exhaustion, and they have to come back to natural hair. They
Yeah.
have to come back to the barber. They
Yeah.
have to come back to the braider. They have to come back to the loctician.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I think you expressed something that as a hairstylist I've seen through the years. It's like women typically like change. It's like we want to do something for a little while. It's like, oh, I want something new. Oh, what, it's like whether it's a cosmetic type of, like lipstick or something like that, whether it's our clothing, it's like, oh, that's so yesterday. I don't want to wear that anymore. Or, they already saw me in that. And it's like, and we do the same thing with our hair. So for the women that have kind of stayed the course and stayed natural and maybe stayed with locks, I mean, a lot of it's a commitment. It's like you don't just kind of go in and out of locks. You know what I mean?
Locks comes with a certain maturity,
Okay.
and it comes with maturity, and it comes with patience. A lot of women are with the misunderstanding that their hesitation to start locks are because they feel that they don't have options. But
Okay.
anything that you can do with straight hair, you can do with your real hair.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
just have to you just have to have a stylist who has a vision for you.
Okay. Okay. And of course, I love that because I think that's true no matter what type of hair you do, that there has to be a vision first. And it's like I love that in your bio, that clarity of vision is always key to, success. And like you say, and I feel, a sense of your humility to learn from people who came before you. Not only the craft, but the reasons and the culture behind it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot being in the industry,
Hmm.
because when I first started doing locks, most of the conversations that were presented to me was, "You just do locks?"
Hmm.
Now, and my response was, "What else is there to do?"
Okay.
You know, but
Right. Right.
I was committed for our culture to be self-expressed in any and every venue. So at the Bronner Brothers show, I did natural hair,
Mm-hmm.
even though I knew it was a cosmetology conversation.
Mm-hmm.
At the premiere show, I did natural hair. You
Right.
know, I manipulated and maneuvered my way into these platforms for natural hair to be self-expressed.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's really important because I think that we need to have an expanse of what's possible, what's available, and that a lot of people, say prior to the last 10 years or so, weren't, very much exposed to, to locks, to natural hair, and some of the things that we're seeing much more of today. And so, thank you for, like kind of opening the door, putting your foot through it and and sharing with us. And of course, now a lot of stylists who, maybe been in the game for a while have been relaxing hair and seeing many more clients with natural hair. Any suggestions in terms of just working with the hair in its natural state? Because I think, is something that we need training on. It doesn't just transition. It's like a new style comes out. I don't know, when balayage first came out, and someone sat in my chair and was like, "I want my hair like this." I'm like, oh, okay, how do I approach this? And before I got some training, it was like, faking my way through. So you mentioned in your bio, like, how you are able to care for the hair and, detangle the hair and all of these things. So what do we need to know?
Um, be specific when you mean what. Who was the we?
Hairstylist. Hairstylists who've been doing hair for a little while. They've been doing mostly relaxed hair. They may be hesitant to switch into more natural clients, which are obviously a lot more natural clients, whether they're getting a silk press or wanting something like a twist out type of style, even just conditioning and, trim, to wear it natural. Not that they're necessarily getting into locks and that, level of training, but just seeing the hair in its natural straight state, it's drier. Shrinkage is definitely obvious, when you're working with natural hair. And moisture versus oil, it's like, what are some of the things, how do we detangle the hair? I saw actually a beautiful video, and I apologize because I'd forgotten the stylist who was doing it, but a young lady had come up to her and recognized her from doing her videos and really wanted her to do her hair, but she hadn't done her hair since the pandemic started, dealing with depression and those types of things. And so the hair obviously was very tangled and, not in good shape, needing to be cleansed and all that kind of stuff. And she took the time to detangle. The lady was like, if you have to cut it all off, then, just do that. That's fine. Because I understand it's a mess. But she took, with care and love, and detangled all of her hair, section by section, and, just created a beautiful style for her. And of course, the client, was very grateful and appreciative for the care. But it was not only the care, but actually having some skill set to be able to do that. And so,
So I feel that the training should be very specific.
okay.
Um, I never understood why Black people went to cosmetology school
Hmm.
to learn about hair that was not theirs.
Hmm. Okay.
That's always been like a mystery for me.
Uh-huh.
But if you're intrigued with straight hair or all hair, then I get it.
Hmm.
But for me, my commitment has always been to taking care of my people,
Hmm.
but in their natural state without the use of chemicals.
Right. Right.
And that's why I don't want natural hair incorporated into a cosmetology curriculum.
Okay. Okay. So tell us more, like you feel like it needs to be honored in our community
And
to
it
take
needs to
care
be
of
separate. I feel that um, the institution of cosmetology has
Hmm.
never acknowledged Black hair. It's
Okay.
never acknowledged natural hair,
Hmm.
and it has never acknowledged the health of our hair.
Okay. Okay.
And so now, um, that natural hair is, I can't even say trending. Um, Now that natural hair is more of a conversation.
Hmm.
Culturally, we cannot trust cosmetology school with Black hair.
Okay. Okay. So
I
take us
don't
deeper.
feel I don't feel that they will respect it.
Hmm.
And when I say respect it, it has to be taught from a cultural perspective.
Hmm. With love and care for not only the hair, but for the person.
I just don't get that if you've never had a commitment to Black hair and natural hair, then
Hmm.
where does the commitment come from now?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I think we kind of have a sense of where it's coming from now with, it's like the birth of this show is, from the George Floyd murder almost a year ago. And, you know, the whole country, as well as a lot of the world, erupted in terms of the racial tensions. And it really quickly spilled into the beauty industry. And, that I think is the root of like, oh, and one of the things, was the blackout day, where all of these companies are like, oh, we stand with you. And it's like, but you haven't been standing with us. So where'd you come from today? Basically. And, you know, since then, it's like there's been more talk, more movement, more whatever you want to say about it. It's definitely a trending topic. And so, I get that there's no sense that there's any commitment under it, that it's more of a trending topic. And so that,
Yes, because there's a petition to
mhm,
get natural hair included
mhm,
in cosmetology school. And a
mhm,
lot of people have asked me before we've even had this conversation,
mhm,
it was never included.
mhm,
And I said, no. And so it's like, hashtag Black hair matters.
mhm.
It's always mattered.
Right, right.
And we can't, it's like, why would you make the request for natural hair to be included
Mhm,
in cosmetology school and not make the request for Black people to own their own schools,
mhm,
to service their own hair?
mhm. Yeah, I mean, definitely. And there are a few Black schools in the country, but not as many as we need. And I think there's been a lot of, I put out some questions about this and how people felt, and I completely agree with what you're saying. And I also see other sides. And one, it's like if we're gonna say add more textured hair or textured hair, period, where does that fit in? What gets squeezed out? What gets out? And it's like I feel like, in a sense, like school is like kindergarten. It's like it's great when you graduate it, but there's still so much to learn, and only so much is going to fit into like 30. What is it? 1,500 hours for most of the country, and so you're only going to get a little bit. So it's like we do need more. I think more advanced training in various areas, and one of the challenges, I guess, that I see and feel pain about actually is that I shared the story before, but a young lady that I met was in Chicago, living in Chicago, basically, I think grew up there, had no problem, getting her hair service as a natural person. She is in computers engineer, I believe, computer engineer, and got a job opportunity in another location. And there's no one there that, I mean, they're all like, we don't have any training at all. And she was just like in disbelief that there's no one here. You guys have licenses. You trained, you go and take a test and you get a license, and there's nothing that you learned about being able to service my hair. And to me, that's kind of heartbreaking that there's no one in like, a big radius, because she spent a lot of time trying to look and find there's someone that has to be able to do my hair. And so I don't know. It's like there's so many conversations to have, but I know
So
what
that's
you're
one of them. And I think that is the distinction between licensing and certification.
Okay. Okay.
And so I just think that the request for natural hair to be included in cosmetology school is for cosmetology school just to make more money. And I don't feel that they don't have a real commitment to
Right.
taking care of our hair, which is the most misunderstood, the most strongest hair on the planet, and the most versatile hair on the planet. And so I want the industry and I want people of color to consider having their own schools. But I know that, again, for a race of people who have been owned, it's very hard to grasp the concept of owning anything. That's why it was powerful when Miss Oprah Winfrey created the Oprah Winfrey Network, because it stood for own.
Yeah.
You speak when you want to own something or when you want something, you speak it into existence. And so I want our people to consider having our own schools. I don't want the sister who's been pressing hair or been applying heat to hair for 50 years talking about, I'm going to teach a class in locks. One of the most frustrating things that I see on social media is that there's an industry of stylists who were cosmetologists first, who are now doing natural hair, servicing clients with natural hair, with cosmetology products.
Okay. Okay. So what should people be using?
They should check their conscience. If you have natural hair, you should be using natural products. The hair moves better. It feels better. It responds better.
So when you say natural products, various oils.
When I say natural products, I mean anything that is not in a beauty supply. I mean things that are from Whole Foods, things that are from a health food store, or making the products yourself.
Okay. And you're not referencing like the section where they have the shampoos and conditioners in Whole Foods. You're saying like into the fruits and the vegetables and the seeds.
I'm talking about sulfate free.
Okay. Okay.
No parabens.
Okay. Got it.
I think that for natural hair, there should be an elite group of stylists who have a certain amount of years experience, who create these cultural curriculums and provide the certification.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. And so talk to us about, my experience growing up, and I grew up like in the suburbs. At night, during the summer, I was in Michigan, so it was just during the summer. The guys would like come over for the girls to like sit on the curb and braid their hair up at night. Someone would keep it braided, someone would wear it in a fro. There are a lot of people who are doing hair, natural hair, who grew up like that. They were the one on the block, doing the hair. And it's like, what kind of training or support do they need to be able to grow the type of business like that you have? They don't have what you have because they have the talent, but they don't have all of the other pieces.
The other pieces.
Sanitation, the skill, the clean parts,
I think the difference is
the difference in the textures. Yeah.
I think the difference is there's a difference in doing someone's hair on your stoop
Mm-hmm.
and doing someone's hair in an atmosphere of professionalism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I don't think natural hair should have licenses. I think they should have certifications.
Okay. And so what would be some of the things included in a certification to like take that person who has this skill from,
Because,
curb
because
to
natural hair is
profession?
something that we naturally do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the next thing you know, they'll make a request to license making potato salad.
Okay.
that's some that's something that we culturally do, you know? And natural hair is ours. It's
Mm-hmm.
our culture, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, as Black people, what do we own?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Natural hair is one of the things that make us as a people uniquely different.
Mm-hmm.
We can't keep giving our culture away. If we give our culture to cosmetology school, they will not do the right thing by us. They
Mm-hmm.
will take our culture, they will patent it, it will be culturally appropriated, and it will be the next level of gentrification.
Mm-hmm. I get
And
it.
so, if natural hair is brought into cosmetology school,
Mm-hmm.
I only want it to be taught from a cultural perspective. So there should be no one teaching a class of locks unless it's me.
Unless it's what?
Unless it's me.
Okay. Okay. You're gonna
You
be a
know,
PG.
I don't want um, stylists doing locks, not understanding how natural hair thrives. I want them to understand the distinctions between moisture and what was the other word we said?
Oil.
And oil, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with experience. You know, there is no one way to know. Your hair will tell you what it needs.
Mm-hmm.
And you only know these things by experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people braiding hair without the understanding of what it culturally means to us. The cornrow um, used to be a map of how the enslaved used to send messages. You know, there's certain braid styles that represent this particular braid style or lock style could be a style that only men in Nigeria wear on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
This particular lock or braid style could be something that women who are about to give birth only wear this particular hairstyle. There
Mm-hmm.
are things about our hair culturally that have meaning.
Right.
And I don't want those meanings to be lost. I don't want natural hair to be included. I don't want it to be a second thought. I
Mm-hmm.
want us to be empowered to have our own schools.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you. That is really, I think, something for a lot of us to chew on and, get busy. How do we make some of those things happen? And what I want to do, I want to just kind of take a moment because there's so many people here and so many wonderful comments and stuff that are coming up that I want to take a little time to share them. So thank you everybody for being here, first of all. And if you're watching the replay, we appreciate you watching as well. And all of the folks that are taking their time right now and sharing love and getting understanding. So I look forward. That was Lynn M. I look forward to learning from both of you. So we're all the way in. It's like, or at least some of the way in. And good night. It's a revolution. That's Black Beauty Culture of Nova Scotia. And we've got some good things. Okay, so we've got, he's definitely a pioneer. We love the path he's created for us stylists. So thank you, Kafele. There's a big wow, but I don't know where that's what that was in reference to. But if you are on Facebook joining us, and here we can just see Facebook user, but if you want us to know your name, you can give StreamYard permission to show it, and we can tell you by name, call you by name. If you don't, no worries. Orrin Sanders, good evening from Locks and Chops Authority Corp.
Miss Miki,
Yes.
that's Mr. Orrin Saunders, and he is the gentleman who trained me.
Awesome. It's
He
like
is,
we salute you.
yes,
So glad that he's here.
I'm glad he's on social media too.
Okay. Uh-oh. That's awesome. And Jakima Griggs agreed. We've learned everything about African American hair outside of cosmetology school. And Real Roots TV, being African is a state of mind. Hashtag the King of Loc. And Oren says, please claim the whole continent. We are fortunate that we can claim the whole continent and just not just a tribe. We are bigger than that. I say an amen. Beautiful. And Kimberly Brown, some stylists do natural and relaxed hair. Do you think one stylist can do both?
Absolutely. Just don't use cosmetology products on natural hair. Just create distinctions between the two.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Natural Hair Journey says Natural Hair Journey. We're glad that you're here. And let's see. Real Roots TV says, I hear a lot of women say that about locks. And I think that was a part of the conversation where we were talking about that they don't have the versatility that they think that they would have with other styles. And Kimberly Brown said you were triggered. So I hope that is a positive in our conversation. Dewana Down says powerful truth. And I don't know exactly which point, but I think when we started talking about the cosmetology schools and not teaching it there, he has a great point though. And that's a Facebook user. Black Beauty Culture of Nova Scotia. I needed this. And a Facebook user because they see it's a money maker and everything boils down to money in this country. We are here on that. We've got Lynn M. The revolution will not be televised or texturized, right? And this young lady or person, I don't know if it's a lady or a man, says that's why they chose the cosmetology school they went to, because I had Black teachers and they taught texture in addition to the core state board. But I learned a lot about Black hair in cosmetology school. Thank God for my awesome teachers. And I think so much that it boils down to that. Go ahead.
Teachings did not come from a cultural perspective. And so just to give an example of that is this common, frequent use of the word textured. Our hair is nappy. Our hair is kinky. Our hair is coily. Our hair is all of the above.
Right.
And so I feel that there's this use of the word textured that give cosmetologists a safe space.
Okay, meaning safe space, meaning what?
That they won't use the word nappy.
Okay. Well, I think in certain conversations or whatever, people, even in the natural hair community that have done natural hair, feel offended by the word nappy. So tell us.
Their offense is only emotional.
Yeah.
You can Google the word nappy and there's about 10 definitions and none of them are negative.
Okay.
Those negatives are only come from people who don't have an understanding of the magnificence of our hair.
Right.
You know, when people don't understand something, the way our hair stands up, the way it moves, the way it curls, the way it kinks, then they create narratives around it. But there's nothing wrong with nappy.
Okay. We heard it here from the King of Loc. We can continue to use the word nappy. Okay.
Yes,
But
please.
one of the things that I do want to say is, and get your thoughts on, about 70% of the world is, in the textured hair category. We know there's more integration between, couples and that type of thing. We have kids that are in the mixed category or what have you, and those textures tend to be very different from, someone who's African American, who may tend to be very different from someone who's African, because it's like most of us African Americans are mixed with somebody somewhere along the line. So how do you, kind of say texture doesn't fit, or
It
what
does
words
fit.
do you use?
It does fit, but I want all of the adjectives to be spoken.
Okay, okay, okay. And so how would you define, and of course there's a broad spectrum of people who are are mixed, with various, whether it's black and white, black Hispanic, or what have you. How would you define some of the textures that are found in some of those?
I'd have to see it to speak on it.
Okay. I mean, and like I said, there's a wide variety. So it's not like,
And a lot of people have two or three different types of textures possible on their one head.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think one of the myths that I wanted to dispel this month is that, like, black hair, textured hair, kinky hair, whatever you want to call it, there kind of is this sense from that I get from some people that, it's one size fit all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we learn how to do X, then we'll be good. But I don't think there is such a thing. So what are your thoughts with the varying textures? And like you said, the hair needs X, Y, and Z, and it'll tell you what it needs, but it's only through experience.
Yes. So clients may ask me, Kafele, how often should I oil my hair?
Hmm.
Your hair will tell you when it's dry.
Hmm.
I can't give you a prescription. I want you to create an understanding with your hair,
Mm.
you know? And the more you know your hair, or the more you create a relationship with your own hair, your
Mhm.
hair will tell you what it needs. And so some days it'll say, you know, your hair will say, Kafele, I need some oil in my hair. And
Mhm.
then your hair will say, no, I'm good. I just need to be mist. I just need a little mist. I just need some moisture.
Okay.
The more you have a relationship with your hair will tell you what it needs.
Okay. I think that's so powerful, because one of the things, in the last, 10 years or so, maybe a little more, it's like we've seen the power of YouTube, that
Mhm.
YouTube in many ways has become the expert rather than beauty professionals in whatever category or lane you might be in. Um, and
YouTube frustrates me.
I mean, it's another aspect of, I don't really know what my hair needs. I'm just going to watch this person, and whatever they use, that's what I'm going to use, because
I,
their hair
I,
is great.
I don't get the understanding of people being engaged in someone sharing their relationship with their hair. It has no relationship to their hair.
Uh-huh. Right.
Because before social media, if you wanted a professional opinion, you would
Mhm.
have to pick up a phone and call a salon and ask to speak to someone.
And make an appointment for at least a consultation, because we can't do it by
And,
phone either.
but now, in this new millennial generation, there is a lack of value for professionals
Mhm.
because they don't see our worth, um, even to pay for a consultation. So
Mhm.
they'll try to get the information for no charge,
Mhm.
um, and run with it.
Mhm.
I'm glad and grateful that after 20 plus years in the game, that people still seek a professional opinion, and professional meaning experience.
Right.
Like, I've done over maybe 10, 20,000 heads, you know? So experience matters. And
Yeah.
I'm glad to have that kind of experience.
Mhm. Think that's a great hashtag too. Experience matters. Yeah, so definitely. Let me show you a couple more. Okay, the Real Roots TV, the revolution will not be texturized. Um, and Black Beauty Culture of Nova Scotia, own it, grow it, love it, and love it. Real Roots TV says, I don't think that much more attention would be paid to our textured hair within that curriculum because it's geared toward doing straight hair. So we've got some really great feedback from everybody. So thank you. And Marcy Walker says the conversation and relationship that one has with their hair is so very healthy. Yes, we need to have more of that would be my assessment, and whatever changes, that we can make toward encouraging women to get more in touch with their own hair, and, getting a sense of what it needs versus just following the latest here, there, or, it's like, oh, well, my friend uses this. And definitely getting back to professionals to get more, to have more experience with a variety of different hair types and textures and states, because your type and your texture may be the same, but if you haven't cared for it, it may need other nutrients. It may need things from the inside. We haven't even talked about like the health of the body versus the health of the hair, but we will in next month with the hair loss conversation, because it's so tied together and we often don't realize it from a consumer standpoint or a professional standpoint. So anything you want to add to that with the inside and the outside? Are those conversations that you have with your clients?
Yes, but I'm your hairstylist, not your doctor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
And I think that is so important. Go ahead. But
I'm your hairstylist. I'm not your doctor. And
uh,
so when it comes to health, you do what you can. I mean, we all know what the right thing to do is, and we just have to make an effort to do the right thing. We drink as much water as we can, um, and we manage the bad things, the sugar and the salt, and we just try to live as healthy as we possibly can.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. But I think sometimes we're missing nutrients and we don't even know that we're missing them. And it's not because we're like not trying or not, doing X, Y, and Z. But yeah, I love the distinction. It's like I'm your hairstylist, not your not your doctor, because this is
But
somewhat
I am in some ways I am your doctor too.
connected.
I know I'm definitely a therapist.
Oh yeah, that too. And I'll just read this and share what I wanted to share. But Real Roots TV says the more you have a relationship with your hair will tell you what it needs. Hashtag King of Loc. So we're sharing your love with and so definitely it's like we're a therapist. But one of the things that is really bothering me online is seeing images from somebody's cell phone of someone's scalp, a lot of times midway through a service, where they're asking everybody online, do you guys know what this is? It's like no one online, we're not doctors. It's like we are not licensed to diagnose anything. Someone sitting in your chair needs to go see a doctor. And it's like you need to be doing a scalp and hair analysis before you get started so that you can assess that it's like, oh, this doesn't look right. I don't know what it is. I don't even need to know what it is, but I know what a healthy scalp looks like, and this isn't it. And I won't be able to service you today until you need to go see a doctor and get it treated, and then, like bring a doctor's note and come back. It's like I'm happy to service you, but
And
we're
it's and it's just like, again, I'm gonna say hashtag experience matters. When your client walks into the space, look at their nails,
yeah.
look at their eyes,
Hmm.
you know, feel look at, just before you just put them in the hair and start shampooing, touch their hair, look at their hair, look at their scalp,
Hmm.
do a really brief assessment
Hmm.
before the service starts.
Right.
because you may have to pause on the service and refer them to a dermatologist, or refer them to a trichologist,
Mm-hmm.
or refer them to a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Before we are into the instant gratification of making money, take a look at your client, have a conversation with them, have some. And that's what I mean, creating a natural hair cultural curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
that um, there's a spirit involved in doing natural hair. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why one of my favorite things to say is, you can't license spirit.
Yeah.
Either you have it, either you're working toward it, or either you don't have it.
Right. It's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And yes.
Miss Miki, I have such a respect for you that every time you compliment me, I'm just so flattered. I'm just so flattered because you're major to me. Like, they're like, because of my experience of going to the hair shows, that as a natural hairstylist, I got an opportunity to meet the elite in barbering, Mr. Doug Tompkins, Mr. Kyle Bullock. I
Mhm.
got to meet the elite in cosmetology, Miss Mickey Wright. Um, I'm trying to think of the brother's name, James Worthy.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, I got to meet Mr. Bronner. I got to meet so many talented makeup artists, Derek Rutledge,
Oh,
photographers, Eric Von Lockhart.
yeah.
I have had an opportunity to meet the best of this industry.
Mhm.
Um, and you're one of those people. So every time you compliment me, it's just like, is this real? So to be revered, not only by my natural hair colleagues,
Mhm.
but across the board in this industry,
Yeah.
priceless.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've earned every cent of it, because I think it's just you bring your wholeness wherever you go. And so it's like, even if we're not following in your footsteps exactly, it's like we are feeling that spirit and doing our best to, live that on a daily basis the way that you do. So we greatly appreciate you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're a great example in so many ways. Like, you have the talent, you have the professionalism and the experience, and your spirit that you bring, and the cultural aspect that you bring, that I definitely don't think that we get enough of. It's like I did a tribute during Black History Month to Black hair history. And, it was hard to even narrow down like to 28. And so, there's so much history that we don't know. There's so much that we have to be proud of that we don't know. And, people are continuing, this Black History 365, and continuing to share stories. And it's like, it's just amazing, the contributions that we've made that have gone um, unrecognized, unappreciated, underappreciated. And so I'm grateful to have this platform and to be able to extend this platform for specifically that, because it's like we need to celebrate, who we are. And a lot of times we're not doing that because we don't even know who we are. So I appreciate you bringing this level of culture to our experience, and to our awareness, because it's like we need to stand in that level of excellence, because it is who we are, and who we've come from and through. So yeah. And there's so much more. It's like that I want to ask you. It's like we're kind of winding down time frame wise, but this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your honesty, and for sharing, your opinions, because I think that we have to take a look at, where we're going, what we're doing, why we're doing it. And, it's like, are we just jumping on a bandwagon? Is it neat? Is it, what are the things that are behind it? And it's like, you have so much grounding in what you're grounded in and rooted in, that we just appreciate you sharing with us that perspective for sure. And I 100% get it. One of the things that we didn't we started to touch on, but we didn't really go there, with like beauty being part of the economic base of our Black community. How do you see like your ties into natural hair, into fitting into that, as well as, the Black salon, the Black barbershop, all have been staples in our community and a source for financial and economic, security, advancement, growth, what have you. How do you see this conversation kind of tying together with that, fact of our history and actually our current, state of affairs? Because, a lot of, there's a buy Black kind of movement, again, really revved up since George Floyd and all of that. But typically, in Black salons, it is Black dollars that are coming into Black salons, Black dollars that are coming into Black barbershops, Black dollars that are coming into, natural hair centers. And so what is your, thought, philosophy, or what have you on how do we continue to thrive? Look at our businesses as businesses, or, from an entrepreneurial perspective. You were talking about ownership before. So talk to us. And give me 1 second. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Kafele.
We have to keep our money in our community.
Okay.
I live in Crown Heights.
What is it? You broke up a little bit.
I live in Crown Heights in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And I know that the part of the community in Crown Heights doesn't spend $1 in the Black community.
Okay. Okay. So tell us the makeup. Is it more gentrified? Is it more Black?
It's becoming more gentrified. But culturally, there's certain groups of people who keep their own money in their community.
Mm-hmm.
I want our people to check their consciousness. Mm-hmm. Culturally, we cannot let natural hair be gentrified. We can't lose our culture. We can't let it be regulated by an institution that has never respected, acknowledged, supported us. We can't let it go. I ask every single natural hairstylist to reconsider including natural hair into cosmetology school, and to create a mindset for the hair set and start our own schools and empower our own economic situations and be an honest contribution to the health of Black hair. Hashtag Black Hair Matters.
I feel like, wow. I don't know if anybody else out there is clapping, but it's like, wow. It's like, that is very, very powerful. And definitely.
I want Black people to consider themselves first. I want them, before they consider Mark Jacobs,
okay,
I want them to consider Marco Hall.
Okay.
I want them to buy Black. I want them to see themselves in themselves, in their own. Take the responsibility for your reality.
Yeah. Nuggets, just big old fat juicy nuggets. So thank you.
Miss Miki, can I please just do a shameless plug to my stylist, Charity, who took care of my hair before this interview, to my barber, Roderick, for my excellent grooming,
Yeah.
and to superstar designer Mr. Marco Hall, who made me feel absolutely sexy during this.
Fabulous. Yes, I was complimenting you on your shirt earlier. I was like, oh yeah, that's nice.
And I don't even know if shirt is the right
I know,
terminology.
right? I may be insulting him. I'm sorry. Is
No, it was not an insult, but
it
I'm just feeling fabulous
okay. Well, I'm glad. You know that's my word. So.
because I had high anxiety with this conversation with you, but it's been absolutely great. And I am so in humility for the invitation. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. It's like I'm honored to have you, and I definitely love and respect so much of what you're sharing. And I think we have just been like enlightened. Like I think we've got some soul searching to do, as a race, as a community, as a beauty industry, as professionals in this industry, as consumers. Let me just show one here. This Love Your Nest Kitchen Design Studio happens to be my cousin Paula, and she says as someone who's considered growing locks, she's been so enlightened by this interview. I think I need to schedule an appointment with the King of Loc. So,
You can DM me, you can reach me, and I will be glad to have a consultation with you.
yes, but you are making an impact. It's time, well overdue, and that's Lisa Mohammed.
Oh, that's my client and sister and friend.
Aw,
Lisa, you already know I adore you. Thank you for showing up on this.
yeah. And Black Beauty Culture of Nova Scotia, hashtag buy Black first.
Black Beauty, please invite me to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, she's a wonderful lady. So it's like I'm sure you guys can arrange something, and they're really on the ball up there as far as getting great education and all. So yes, well, thank you so much for being here this evening, and thank you everyone who joined us, everyone who's watching on the replay. It's like we are so appreciative, and really hope that take, I think the way that you share is really phenomenal, and it really is from the heart and heart touching. So it's and we've got I was trying to do one that came before that one came in so fast, but Black Beauty Culture of Nova Scotia says, ooh. So yeah, DM each other and get that set up so we can hopefully when we can travel again, it's like we can do some of these things live and have some of these conversations. But
Do you know how many people are watching?
I have 21 that are showing on my screen, so I don't know totally, but that's what I can see from here. So
Those 21 people who are watching this interview, this conversation,
uh-huh.
if you would consider sending me a DM to my Instagram, the King of Loc, sharing how you enjoyed this conversation with me and Miss Miki Wright, I will send you a complimentary bottle of K oil.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Scoot it this way. It's kind of like backwards from what you're seeing. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
If you are in a video that I could share with Miss Miki on our social media on how you enjoyed this conversation, I will gladly send you a complimentary bottle of my K oil.
Oh, that is so generous of you. Thank you so much for
And
that.
Miss Miki, please send me your mailing address. I got you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It's like I'm excited. It's like, yeah. Yes, absolutely. So, thank you so much. I feel like so touched, about the whole conversation that we've had today, and definitely hope that each of you guys that are here, each of you guys that are on the replay will like tag someone who needs to hear this, because this message needs to be shouted loud and strong, so that we really get a deeper and different appreciation and perspective on where we are now with natural hair, with textured hair, with kinky hair, with nappy hair, and everything in between. And where do we want to go from here? So we really need to be intentional and, like you say, seek your heart, search your heart, and see what's right for you. So, wow, this has been quite an evening. So I appreciate you all. I want to invite you. Kafele's also invited you to follow him on the King of Loc on Instagram. You can follow me on Miki Wright. Like I said, everyone always likes to give me extra K's and such, but it's just K-I, WRIGHT. And it's like I will have more tips on texture. And a clip from this might even go on there, right?
Yes.
But I want to also invite you. It's like if you are on YouTube to subscribe to us, and so you don't miss any more. And all of our previous ones are on my YouTube channel, which is MikiWright.com. Soon it'll all be on Beauty Superstar, so you can go there and have one hub. We're working on the site and adding more things each day. And you can catch the podcast on Apple or iTunes, or your favorite platform for podcast. And if you are interested in supporting this work, you can feel free to contribute in any way that you'd like. Go to visit beautysuperstars.com. It's like we have a big red button there and tells you how we're supporting people in the industry as well. And next week is our last wrap up for Let's Talk About Texture. Let's Talk Texture. And I'm excited. Tan will be here, Dr. Tanya Taylor, and she is fabulous. She's created her own lock system.
Super fabulous.
Yeah, and full of energy. She's a ball of ball of energy, and doing amazing things with attracting clients online, utilizing Google as well as other social media channels. And she's going to be here to kind of spill the beans on what we need to do to get those ideal clients in our chairs, using online tactics. And she might even throw in some offline stuff as well. But and next month, we will be diving right into hair loss and hair replacement, because unfortunately it is a huge issue, especially in our community, but women across the board are being affected at disproportional rates for a lot of different reasons, a lot of things that have to do with health, as well as some things that we're doing to the hair and not, in terms of not taking care of it and too much tension and all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to go in on that and just offer solutions and offer some opportunities for people in our industry to grow and to be able to be of your service, because like Kafele was talking about, it really is about caring about the client and taking enough time to care about, what is their hair doing? How does it feel today? What is their scalp doing? What's going on? Like you said, looking at their nails and all of that. So I don't want to get too deep in it, but we will definitely be looking at it for the whole month. So hopefully you'll come back and join us. And also wanted to share with you, it's like I did the Reinvent Your Salon Biz class. So if you're interested in expanding and making 2021 your best year yet, you can visit beautysuperstars.com and you can download a free copy of the whole class on my blog. So check that out. And again, thank you to our new sponsor, Black Beauty Expo. And it actually is the hottest show for Black creative entrepreneurs in hair, fashion, photography, modeling, makeup, all of the above. So the next show is August 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. So you can follow them. And also, if you're interested in educating there, to definitely contact me and we'll make things happen. And if you're interested in partnering with us, Beauty Superstars or Beauty Superstars Talk, to let me know as well. So I want to say thank you again. This has been fabulous, kind of beyond fabulous, and very grateful for you. So thank you so much, Kafele.
To have this as a part of my resume is
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. It's like we have so many. We have more comments that are coming, but Lynn M says the jewels that were dropped are phenomenal. I agree. We need to fight to keep our culture because we've had so much already stolen from us. So thank you for that, and I think we will end it right there. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.
Thank you.